Hello and welcome to the Halifax Real Estate Podcast. I am your host, Jason Paul, licensed realtor in Halifax since 2017 and team lead of the Infinity Real Estate Group at eXp Realty of Canada Inc. This podcast was created to help you understand a little more about the Halifax and Nova Scotian real estate markets. If you like what you hear, I would really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much and enjoy the show. It's not that bad.
Does this help my
It's
business or hurt it?
No, it's it's not one of those. It's just like all right. Today's topic, we just want to have some fun. Hardest transactions, our most difficult times in during transactions and working with clients and people and realtors and brokers and everyone else involved is our hardest, most strugglesome days. I
Yeah, the challenging ones, the ones that make the job spicy.
There that you know what, the deals and the times that make you so grateful for the great clients. It's
It's
just like
almost
you
like it's it's
appreciate.
it's funny. It's funny because I've literally had it where you'll have a run up of some challenging files, and then you get a file and you get a call on like a Saturday or a Sunday, and the client's like, "Man, the bank just pissed me off. Can you pre-approve me? We want to put an offer in Monday. We got an offer in Monday. We're ready to rock. We're broker complete by like the following Thursday." And like the clients come back and they're like, "This was incredibly fast and easy. Like, is this for real?" And I'm even pinching myself like, is did that just happen? Because the ones that were before it were
Yeah.
every
I
step of the way a challenge.
it's it's funny, I was talking to Anya about this because she started her year in June, so she's almost a year old in real estate, and, her first 3 or 4 deals were tough. Like, they were hard transactions, and she looked at me and she's like, "Does it ever get easier?" And I'm like, "You know what? This like, statistically, I'm probably like 1 in every 5 or 6 you get that's just smooth and doesn't require much." And then sure enough, you gave her the
Yeah, that's
referral, and they saw
oh yeah,
one house and bought it. And she was like
they're
and I'm
great.
like, "Yeah, it's not." I'm like, "It's not always shenanigans, but when the good ones come in, like, you just appreciate them because it's just like
But you're
it
almost like
just
it's
goes."
like twice bitten, once shy. Like you're nervous. Like when it happens and
Yeah.
it goes so easy, you're like, is it supposed to be
Well,
that easy?
you're literally like, it's so uncomfortable. You're like, Did I fuck up somewhere? Like, what paperwork
Yeah,
have I
exactly.
messed
Like,
up or
what
something?"
is where is the hanging piano? What
Yeah,
happened?
where like, what
What did I miss?
so to So to kick this off, and this will be good. Last night, like literally last night, um, clients have an accepted offer, and they want to do they first time buying in Nova Scotia. They bought houses in other parts of the country, and they've been burned in other purchases. So they like whatever they can possibly inspect and do on a house, they're doing it. Like they're paying for their own survey. They're doing to confirm the boundary line. Instead of getting a home inspector to look at the roof, we're bringing in a roofer to walk the roof. As much as and, like, the
They
list of,
have been
like
burned, haven't they?
yeah, and so on this list, like, what usually is, like, probably, like, a 6, 7 checklist is now 22 items that I have to, like, try and that's not the problem. So I made up the list of things, and I'm going through it, and I'm firing off emails because they need to meet brokers. So they're working on 2 different brokers. Those emails gotta go out. We gotta meet the lawyer. That's gotta go out. I gotta schedule 4 different inspections. So the 4 those emails are going out, and I'm CCing them and everything. And to one of the brokers, I emailed them the agreement purchase and sale, the list cut, and the taxes, which is what you're supposed to do to complete financing. I sent it to the wrong email. And this is about 4:30 in the afternoon, so my daughter's home. I gotta cook supper soon. And so I see it. I call the client, I go, "Hey, just a heads up, I sent this to the wrong person. It's probably someone I know or a past client. I'm sorry I sent your APS, like it is your private information to someone else." Private information being like your names and your address and what you're paying for this house
Address,
and the
yeah,
the,
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
clauses in the contracts. You know what I mean? Nothing too drastic. They laughed, no one cared, not a big deal. I'm cooking supper at like 6. I got my headphones on and my daughter's playing around, Anna's with Sophia, and the dog's barking, and I get a random phone call. And it's this, and it's from, it's a part of Nova Scotia, so it's down the South Shore. And I pick up, hi, Jason here. How can I help you? And she goes, "Are you Jason?" I go, "Yes, my name is Jason. Hi, how can I help you?" And she goes, "You just stole a property, like, you just stole my money." I go, What are we talking about?" She goes, "I just got an email from you saying I bought a house, like, you stole my money and you bought a house." I go, what are we talking about here?" And, like, when someone accuses you of stealing their house or stealing their money to buy a house, like, my stomach or my ass literally went to my throat,
Well,
like, just, like,
yeah,
shot.
yeah, things start to pucker. Yes.
Like, all like,
Was this
that
the
gut
person you had
horrible
sent the
sinking?
email to in error?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I sent her this, so I and you backtrack it, and, like, I went to my CRM, not on my CRM, went to my phone, not on my phone. I have no idea who this person is. I have no idea why I have their email. And sure enough, you'll laugh at this. She goes, "Were you at the home show?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I was 100% at the home show." So I'm
Which one?
guessing what happened is the spring,
You got
the
her
spring.
email from the no, but you got her email
I'm
from the
guessing
contest, and then
I'm guessing she put her name in, and I'm
yeah,
guessing we contacted her to be like, "Is we were doing a giveaway." And
yeah,
she, like, I'm sure this is what happened. She told us not to contact her again because she wasn't in any CRM. So I'm
yeah,
sure she told us to not to contact her again. We deleted her from the database. We deleted her from the phone, which is fair enough. I guess, like, the email split to my Gmail account because they're linked from the CRM. So
and
that's
it
how
picked
she ended
up
up in
on that.
there. And but
She didn't read any of
like,
the documents to know that it wasn't her name on the purchase and sale agreement?
read every, like, literally read the documents and was like, "I had to go read this document to go find your name." I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "I'm like, this is like, I thought someone hacked my account. Like, how, like, you've caused me the greatest strain of grief." And I'm literally like, "Hey, like, I just want to be clear here. Like, I didn't know I did this. This was a mistake. I'm sorry." In the back of my mind, I'm like, "Oh my God, I gave my client's fucking APS to a complete stranger on the internet." You know what?
Yeah,
Like, I'm not even concerned about you. I'm concerned about, like, that. And sure enough, she screams at me for like 8 minutes, and Anya's in the room listening, being like, "Who the fuck? Who is killing you right now?" And I keep just, because you messed up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And sure enough, it hangs up, sends me an email. You and then it was like you didn't even have the decency to email me that you messed up. You deleted the email to cover your butt. You tried to hide it. This is the most unprofessional. You shouldn't be in this industry. And I just responded, "Hi, I did like I'm sorry again for like the fifth time that this happened. This was never my intention. I'm sorry to cause you panic. I've deleted all your information. I promise you. I don't want to talk to you again either." And it's just like, just
some folks, it's just, you know, I feel like certain folks walk around in the run of a day just like primed to want to argue with folks or
oh
like just
God.
unleash a bunch of like
Wait,
internal angst and like
to
to
fulfill
go
this,
through that
I'm gonna hold
and
on.
to,
I'm gonna bring
but
this
to
full
not even
circle.
see your own name on the document. She wasn't noted
Right.
on it.
No, nothing, nothing,
So like
not
at what
included at
point
all.
does
Like
she think
nothing
besides
pertained
it
to her.
like she must just
Yeah.
snap her crayons when she gets spam emails.
She
Like what happens when
she
Amazon calls her and tells her her package of drugs is at the border? Like,
I love how you infer the age because you're absolutely right.
yes.
But then I had to text my client like, "Hey, can you call me immediately?" So of course they call me, and I'm like, "Put me on speaker," and I explained the situation. And my clients, like, they were dying laughing, and one of them goes, "I'm so sorry. I've had this happen to me, and I'm sorry this happened to you. Are you okay?" And then the other one goes, "Yeah, where's your stomach right now?" I go, "My stomach is like halfway out my mouth. I just want to be sick." And they laughed. They're like, "We like shit happens. Like you're fine. Like you didn't give it away." I'm like, I know I didn't, but like in my head, I'm
Yeah,
like
you guys are
super.
good, but this
Yeah, no,
other one's losing her mind.
I'm I'm so fucking frazzled. Like,
Oh,
oh, fuck.
frig.
Anyway, so that's to kick this off. That was my enjoyment
I'll be
yesterday.
surprised if that's the last time you hear from her.
I have blocked and deleted her on everything. She cannot contact me again.
She's
So
probably
so
still
the
down
only
there
other way
telling
the
everybody at
only
Tim Hortons.
the only other way that she can get a hold of me is if she puts a complaint in an NSA or an NSREC, and I'm not ruling that out. Like, if I get a
I
call
wouldn't
from
rule
them,
anything out.
I will
Yeah.
be like, yeah, okay, I know
I
exactly what this is about.
I did,
Please."
yes, I accidentally sent her an email
Yeah.
that referenced her in no way anywheres in the email, but the sheer
No,
fact
she
that
had
she
this
opened it and read of it.
she had the same name as the broker. That's why it came up. It was like they have this so the email is hi name, which is her name. So that's how that happened. But nothing else references her. It's like, "Hey, here's everything you need for financing. Looking forward to working with you again. The firm dates this. Here's the paperwork.
God.
Please let me know that you received it." She certainly let me know.
Yeah.
So if I get a complaint from anyone, like I got I've got my money on what I think it's gonna be. All right, so that's my first highlight of this. Give me something rotten. Give me something good.
Give you something in Rawdon?
No, like, give me something rotten, like rotten apple. Give me the good stuff. Give me something that was challenging for you in this life that we live.
For me, there's layers of this, right? So it's like, it's the property. It's, there's the folks that you work with. There's the client, what they can do. And then oftentimes it's like the employer, right? Because we've got the aspect of it where we're trying to confirm financing, right? So
Yes.
like there's a few different areas where, you've got to go to the employers, you're back and forth with all these different folks. Um, but I would say most recently, the one that probably caused my knees to chatter the most as of late was a mysterious car payment, probably days before financing. And I mean days before closing. Like we were firm on the deal.
Oh no. Okay.
And we were just about to be firm.
This was I know the file. This was Anya's.
And it definitely put my stomach in a few inches higher than normally sits in my body because
Yeah.
the bank has the opportunity, like the bank can ask for anything. And this is the interesting part. I have to caution myself every time when I talk with clients because sometimes I can just be like, give your head a shake in my head, but I can't say it out loud. So like my inside voice sometimes take over my outside voice. And, you know, so the bank can ask for anything. Right. And they'll
Right.
ask for a certain amount of banks or documents. But then if they want to ask for whatever else they want to ask for, they can because, you're asking for their money. So, it was interesting. So the bank needed extra bank statements, which was fine. We provided those. And then the email came back to me, what about this loan? And I'm like, what loan? And like I had looked at the bank statements, but it's, you read a bunch of lines and like, you may miss something in the middle. And for some reason, I guess I just didn't see that there was even a loan noted. Um, and I'm like, what loan? And so like I go back to the application. I'm like, okay, I have these loans cataloged. So like, and I go back to the credit bureau and I'm like, okay, and this all matches up. There's nothing else. So like, what are we talking about? Um, And I go back to the lender and I'm like, I don't see any loan. And they're like, no, it's coming out. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I go to the client and I'm like, so like, what's the loan here? And he's like, it's a car loan. And I'm like, instantly my heart sinks. And I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my
of
God,
course.
I was like, you bought a car? Like you bought a car. And it's like, well, yes and no. And I'm like, I'm hoping it's more of the no than the yes. 'Cause that is like cardinal rule 1, and I've had clients do that, oh my god, I've had clients do that where they're like, "So we bought a car, is this gonna affect things?"
I
I'm like,
told
"We've
you the
talked about this, and
famous
yes, it does."
I've told you the famous story of someone buying a Tesla in South End, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
All right. Good. Yeah, the number one
So
rule is
so if
don't
I
buy a
go to
car
an
during financing.
don't buy a car, like, it's funny, I took this from a colleague of mine, he's got the pre-approval 10 commandments, and so I started to add that in my
Yeah.
pre-approval. So it's like, "Thou shall not." co-sign for another loan during this period. Thou shall not have
Yeah.
large deposits that are outside of like your pay stub. Thou shall not buy a car. So anyway, I go to the client and I'm like, brother, like what's up with this loan? Like, because I can't see it anywhere.
Right.
And yeah, so I bought out a car and I was like, okay, so you bought out the lease. Excellent. Well, when you buy a lease out, the lease provider, Mitsubishi, Honda, whatever, internally, when you do the financing, it doesn't always hit your bureau. Okay. And so that's why when we do the application, we're like, hey, make sure you look at the assets and the liabilities. And if there's anything missing, fill that in because I can't assume to know anything outside of what I can see. And I can only see what comes up on the Equifax Bureau. Um, so anyway, we go down that road and it was a lease that was purchased out. And so then we have to go back and I'm like, when did you buy this lease? So when did this happen? And so anyway, it ended up being fine in the end. We got it all worked out, didn't interrupt the file. We closed on time. Man's got the house. But it was one of those things in the 11th hour where you're just like, oh my God, this is my nightmare. This is the worst thing that could, one of the worst things that could happen in the 11th hour. And, but it's also one of those things where like, and I say this and you've heard me say it, I'm like, in the aspect of a transaction, think of me as like the flight attendant. You know, we're
Yeah.
flying the plane. It's all good. As long as I'm calmly walking up and down the aisles, offering drinks and refreshments and like terrible fucking cookies, everything's good. Same. I would expect the same from my stewardesses or my airline attendants when I'm on the plane. But if they're running up and down the aisle freaking out, it makes everybody. So
Or
you definitely
if
have
they're
to
all
kind of
huddled at
steel
the front of the
yourself and
plane in a huddle talking to each other, you're like,
yeah, you're like, "Oh, I don't like that."
I don't like
So
that.
anyway, we got through that, but that was recently one that I would say definitely, oh yeah, I was like, "Oh my God." Like, I can't bel like, how did this and again, like, I always think back when something happens, like, what could I have done different? Where could I have seen this? Aside from seeing the line item when I sent the statement, but, yeah, it doesn't put not everything shows up in your Equifax bureau, right? So, it's just one of those things where but we got through it. We got through it,
It's funny,
and
like
it probably shaved, like, 6 months off of my life, that's fine.
it's funny, like, when you that is, like, when something goes awry or wrong, like, your first thought is always like, "Where did I fuck up?" It's always like it's
100%.
like you start combing through everything, being like, "How did I miss this?" or "What
It
is
used
this?"
to
or "Where wait."
frustrate my teachers and university professors because, like, they'd pull me in and they'd be like, "Matthew, like, what were you doing here? Like, this was" and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, this was all me." And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, this was my fault." And they're like, "Well, I can't even get mad at you because, like, you're literally admitting that you did that." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, like, I didn't get the mark I should have got because I didn't prepare well enough." And they're like I was like, "I know I didn't prepare." So but yeah, I'm
I
very much the first to be like, "Okay, what could we have done different?"
I am like that too, and I'll give you a side story. I used to work as a server in a restaurant downtown, and I'm honest to a fault. To a fault. I do have faults being too honest. Um, as my wife likes to
I've
remind
heard
me.
you be pretty honest before, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. Um, and I used to be a host first before I was a server, and I would run my floor like a like a captain with an iron fist. Like, I would never let a server seat anyone without my permission, and, like, I ran the because that was my job. My job was to run the floor and make
Hey,
sure
you
the
gotta have
restaurant
control. Yeah.
managed. And a bartender sat someone at the bar to a table on Valentine's Day night when we were fully booked. So I
Oh,
didn't
that's
have
a
a
cardinal
table
rule.
for right. So I walked and I'm fuming and I walked over to this couple and I'm fuming, I'm not thinking, I'm also like early 20s. So whatever whatever posture I have now, I didn't have back then. It was just
Oh, yes. Yes, that's a good way of
so
putting that.
so I remember I just go like, "Who told you you could sit here?" Like, in my head, I'm like, "You guys definitely just saw an open table and sat yourselves down." Like, I didn't think on Valentine's Day night, like, a server or bartender would be dumb enough to give away one of my tables. And, they pointed at the bartender, and the bartender looked at me like, "I told them." And I'm like, "Oh, good. So now I have to go and, like, rearrange my whole floor plan and, like, figure out how I can fit this table at the front, who are expecting a reservation on Valentine's Day that they booked a month ago, and I'm gonna get yelled at." Anyway, long story short, they put a complaint in against me for my attitude, which rightly so. I was not courteous to them at their on their evening, And, my manager called me to the office and he goes, "Hey, did did you say this to these people?" And I go, "With attitude." He just and he just
With
goes,
spice.
"Fuck, you're honest." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I did
Yeah,
it." Like, I
yeah,
did it.
yeah.
And, like, funny enough, they're regulars. We became friends. Like, we would literally, like, laugh at each other, be like, "Who told you you could sit?" Like, it became a thing, but I remember just being like, "Yeah, no, I did that, and I did it rudely." Like,
Yeah, 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 and I did it with vigor. Yeah.
oh, with enthusiasm from hell.
Yeah, yeah.
I had to go through I went through all of my deals to try and figure out, like, ones that made me want to tear my hair out. So I'm gonna give you the option, we can play a game here. I've got one where I'm selling a house, selling a listing, and the buyers were out of their mind on closing day. I can go through that one. I've got a negotiation on a listing with the seller, with the agent that we went back and forth for 3 weeks on price, and agent could not get was trying they were trying to beat me down on price, and I defended the price like a champ, but we fought about it, and it got to, like, a pretty aggressive phone call to summarize it at the very end. I've got financing stupidity from a bank that caused
Ooh, I like that one.
client to not close for 2 days with moving trucks full of furniture and nowhere else to go.
Oh, yeah, bank don't care.
Bank don't care. Bank
Bank
did
don't
not
care.
give a fuck.
Bank don't care.
Uh, and then that I'll give you those 3. You can tell me what one you want. I've got selling
I go with
buyers
the
close
last one just because financing is what I do, so I'd love to know what the bank did.
um, okay, we were
And
buying
then
a
maybe the
military
second
move.
one, because I've got a story that might link back to the second one as well, where you're arguing with the selling agent.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
on this one, military move, BMO treats military like royalty. Everyone knows that. Like, they get them best rates, or the reputation is BMO does really well with,
They have a
frontline work.
yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have a
Yeah,
reputation to be the
they have that
absolute best
reputation.
out there. I would say
Yeah.
that there is equivalence out there. It's just BMO has long and been told that they are the best.
Yes. Yeah. So BMO has a reputation. So clients moving back to Nova Scotia from Ontario for their last military move, coming home, really close family friend, like really close family friend. Um, Went with BMO, and I remember about issue, the first issue was, it came up during, I think we were firm, we hadn't closed yet, we hadn't gotten to closing yet, and I'm driving to Halifax, and I call from my client, pick up the phone, "Hey, how are you? Jason, where's my money?" "What are you talking about?" "I just gave you a deposit for 100, like a pretty significant deposit, it was $100,000, I think it was. Um, where's my money?" And I'm like, what are we talking about here?" Like, I dropped it off at the deposit, at the brokerage, I gave you the receipt, like, we confirmed where that money went. And she's like, "Where's my money?" I go, "Okay, it's in a trust account at this brokerage, and it's probably paying for real estate fees, because you can guess $100,000 deposit, like, it's a pretty significant purchase."
Mm.
Um, and so she's like, "I don't pay real estate fees." I'm like, "No, no, you don't, but the sellers do, and it's always out of the deposit. The deposit always, like, pays that's how that." And she's like, "Jason, I'm sending out my broker here at BMO, and she's charging me a full 900, the purchase price was, well, it's over 1,000,000, but I'm gonna give you a random number. They're charging me the full $950,000 mortgage here. I paid a $100,000 deposit. My mortgage should be 150,000. So where's my money?" And I go, "Tell your broker to read the fucking contract." And I did not know I was on speaker in the room with the fucking broker. So
And just for like, just
so
to be a stickler, they're not brokers. They're mortgage specialists.
good. Well, tell that mortgage specialist to I go, "Read the fucking contract." And sure enough, the mortgage specialist pipes up, "I have," and, the deposit and she gave some verbal bullshit that meant she didn't read the contract, and I was like, "What's $100,000 what's this 950 minus $100,000? 850,000, right? Isn't that what's owed now for them for financing because they paid that down? Like, are you asking them for a $250,000 down payment now when we already gave them 100 grand? Like, what are we doing?" And sure
Yeah.
enough, through some ass pedaling and some maneuvering, came out with, "Oh, that wasn't clear." And I'm in the car and I go, "Okay, cool. Have a good day." Hung up. So, kept myself moving because I just wasn't dealing with it. And then we get to closing day, and we went through, a lawyer that we all work with. Okay, the paralegal at the time was
Yeah.
new.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, we get to closing day, no funds received from anyone, from any lender,
Of course.
no money anywhere. BMO doesn't know where the money is, and the lawyers don't know where the money is, so definitely not closing that day. But client didn't listen to me because we always tell them never order the moving truck for the day of closing, order for the day of after because keys could get late. So you're gonna don't pay that hourly rate. So they ordered a moving van. They're outside this house waiting to move into it at like 10 a.m. We had just finished the final fucking walkthrough, like not ready. And sure enough, we all
Yeah.
assume we all assume it's the new paralegal because it wasn't their first time of um, making errors on transactions because 'cause they're new and they're learning on the job.
No, this sounds
So,
like a BMO thing.
well, so after, like, consoling my clients who are in a state
Yeah.
and talking to the lawyer and everyone you can tell people are trying to cover their ass and point
Oh,
fingers, like
100%.
BMO's
Yeah,
pointing the
yeah,
finger
yeah,
at the
yeah, yeah.
lawyer, lawyer's pointing the finger at BMO, client's just upset, no one's talking to her. Come to find out, the mortgage specialist on the file input the closing date wrong.
Yeah.
They had it
Instructions didn't get sent. That's super yeah, that's instructions didn't get sent. If nobody knows, because it all goes through like a portal system where the money starts moving through FCT usually, and those instructions don't get sent. It's like I so far now as to because of these issues that when an FCT instruction comes from my lender to say that they've sent instructions to a lawyer, and typically you'll see that once you sign a commitment document and get it back to the lender, I've even started to see them now send instructions to the lawyer with just a signed commitment. And like we still haven't even completed conditions, but like the bank is trying to get that much ahead of it to give the lawyers enough time that I now have to go to the lawyers. Not have to, but I do because I want to make sure they've received their instructions. Cause sometimes they're like, I
right.
didn't even see it.
Yeah,
Or the bank doesn't send it. And so, but yeah, that was definitely on the bank. They just
yeah.
did not
Oh,
do. Yeah.
1,000%. And we got to the end of the day, and I had to call the clients who thankfully, they have friends and family that live here, so they have places to go,
That's the
but
next thing. Where are they gonna stay? Yeah.
I literally had to be like, "So here's what's happened." All she my client just goes, "Who do I kill?" And I'm like, "Well, remember when I told you to work with a broker, but you
There you go.
remember
I
when I advised you?" And she's like, "Okay, got it. They're buying again, they're moving again, and we are going through a broker."
yes.
But I just like, even talking about it brings back all that day of anxiety of, like
It's the challenge I find sometimes it's the and like you said, like everybody when we used to say this all the time when I worked in heavy industry is like when shit hits the fan, friends aren't friends. Right. And so like when shit hits the fans in a transaction, everybody in the transaction all of a sudden
oh,
sits
yeah.
up straight and starts to point fingers. And there's nothing worse than somebody interjecting themselves to be like, well, no, no, no. Like this is, this is how we're doing it. And then all of a sudden they're the reason that it's not happening. In this case, it was the bank.
Yeah, and
So
let's be clear, come closing day, like, we have no power. There's nothing a realtor can do. Like, so you're just taking phone calls, and you're talking to the listing agent who's got anxious sellers, and, like, imagine being the
even
listing
back,
agent, like,
I mean, I
ugh,
would back it up even a few days. Once you go firm, really,
no,
now the
really.
ball is in the court of the broker or the mortgage
Yep,
specialist
yep,
and the lawyers at this point, right?
yep,
Because
yep.
I mean, aside from like helping with like,
You
making
can
sure nobody goes to the property and doing things and managing the expectations and stuff like that, but there's
listen,
really the
I
rest of
know you're
it's
trying to
all
give
in
us
their
more credit,
court.
but we have really no power on a deal minus, like, a c maybe writing an amendment for something that everyone agrees upon through the lawyers to save people money. Like, realistically, like, there's not anyway, that day sucked. That day sucked.
Oh, right. Okay. So
And it's like my in-laws' best friends, so my in-laws were calling me too.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I was getting it from every
Everywhere.
angle. And
Yeah.
Anya's not a realtor yet, but she knows enough to be like, "What's happening?" I go, "I don't know." Anyway, go on. Give me one.
What would you prefer? Where
I
I
like this
have to
dealer's choice
challenge
game.
yeah, yeah, dealer's choice. I've got one where I've gotta challenge the selling agent now on how they've promoted this property because a bank won't touch it with a 10-foot pole, but they think that they've written up just a star-spangled awesome Facebook ad. Or do you wanna hear about the one where the employer actually came this close to torpedoing the file by not agreeing to what they actually wrote on the letter that they wrote themselves?
That one. Because I know what the agent did. I know what
So, so we will talk about the agent one because I do want to put
Oh,
that
yeah.
one on the list.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, go on.
I had one great clients, great jobs like healthcare, um, I think they were both in the healthcare field. Either way, it was great, So you got to get your job letter, right? Your job letter comes in and like what they put down on the job letter is what the bank is going to go off of. Right. So, oftentimes we'll get involved when the job letter comes in. We have to go back to them. We're like, okay, I need you to say, I need you to speak to the guarantee of the hours or whatever, like just so it's not clear because the bank needs to see, are you full time? What are your hours? What is the pay structure, hourly or salary? Is overtime in play? And then we go from there on the strategy. So we get the job letter. It's beautiful. Client is full time, 40 hours biweekly. They make this, they make that. They've got overtime. Great. And typically, when you get job letters from certain entities, if it's government related, even the banks are like, okay, it was from the government. Okay, cool. Sometimes they won't even call. Like I've had them on files where it's like a government job and they're just like, that's government. We're good. So we're going through the process and typically as we're eating away on our conditions, some of the low hanging fruit, I would call it, would be like, okay, they just have to call to verify the income, right? So, like, I'm looking at the job letter. It's from the government. I know the career he's in is very well established and incredibly needed in the province, right? I'm pretty sure they would let him sleep at work if he would just stay there and keep working. That's how bad they need these folks. And so the bank's like, okay, we're just going to
Yeah.
call. Everything else is good. We just have to call and confirm what they put on the job letter. Super simple. Bank calls me. Matt, we got a problem. I said, what do you mean we have a problem? There's no more problems. Like we have literally eaten away all the conditions. Like, what is the problem? You're calling the employer to confirm employment. He's employed. Like, what is the issue? The employer doesn't agree with what they put on the job letter. What do you mean the employer doesn't agree with what the employer put on the job letter? Like, did
Just
Sharon write the
just so
job
we're
letter?
all on the same page
Yes.
here.
So you're talking to Sharon, right?
Okay, so same
Sorry, go
person
ahead.
who wrote the job letter, the same person that wrote the
Oh, I
job letter
confirmed
got the
that.
call
Absolutely.
and did
Yes.
not
Yes. Like, I was like, well, did they write the job letter? And I used Sharon as the name. It wasn't Sharon, but did
Yeah, of
insert
course.
name write the job letter? Yes. She's like, Matt, and God loved the banker. So the banker's like, Matt, I tried 4 different ways to have her literally say back to me what she put on the job letter. And I kept saying to her, yes, but you wrote it this way. And so, like, is that not what you meant? No, that's not what I meant. Well, what do you mean? And so it ended up coming down that, like, it wasn't actually 40 hours every week. It's actually more like they're guaranteed like 15 or 20 hours. And then the rest is like this top up through a variation of overtime and blended hours and all this like fugazi in the background. And I'm just like, banker, did they just take the income and cut it in half? And she's like, yes. What do you mean? This person is full time and could work forever. If they literally never left, they would let them keep working because we're that hard up for those types of healthcare professionals. And you're telling me that the same person who wrote the letter then went back and said, oh, by the way, I only meant like half of that. So I was beside myself at this point because it was fairly early on in my career. And so, like, when something goes sideways, it's the first time it's gone sideways.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
had never encountered a job letter literally not being agreed upon by the person who produced the job letter. And so, anyway, we had to go back. I put a case together and was like, listen, I get what they're saying, but let's look at the career and the industry holistically, like literally. And I was pulling up articles to be like, there's a shortage of these folks. Like, we don't have enough of them. We're basically pulling them in from other provinces to help. And like, this is, I
Nurse.
said, so like,
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah.
paramedic. It was a
Even
paramedic.
worse, they are
Oh,
much
yeah.
more
I was
needed.
like,
Yeah.
I said, I bet
Yeah,
you
yeah.
could sleep in the ambulance if you just promise not to go home and keep working. He's like, yep. So we ended
Yep.
up having to
Yeah.
do a variation of that. I had their pay stubs. I was like, listen, let's project out based on the pay stub what the forward front, like what the income should be. So I'm doing like projections, like, because again, we do commercials too, right? Commercial financing too. So some of this can be justified on a commercial lens. Like, you can do forward projections and all these
Right,
different
right,
things.
right.
Usually that does not work residentially. But I was like, listen, bank, I'm not getting off the phone. We're, and sure enough, they let me project out the income. I backed it up with all this
Wow.
information on the industry and how hard up they were. And I was like, don't call the employer again. Like, just let's stop talking to her because she's not on our side. But yeah, I didn't think it would be the actual employer who torpedoed the letter. And the lender was like, Matt, I asked her 4 different ways on the phone to be like, are you sure? Like, but are you
You know
sure?
what's
Like,
it's bad when the bank's like, "Can you fugazi this and just give me what I need you to verify so I can
the
sign?"
banker was like, the banker literally said to me, she's like, Matt, I've never had this happen before. I've had like, issues with employer, but I've never had the employer literally disagree with the job letter that they themselves wrote and then effectively cut this gentleman's income in half. And I was like, "Holy heavenly crap!" And I couldn't go back to a 2 year average because he had just moved here, so he was doing like crazy paramedic work
Yeah.
in Alberta. So like, there wasn't a mechanism to fall back on there. So I was just like, we had to, yeah, man, we pulled the rabbit out of wherever we could pull it from to be like, no, 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 no. This is actually what they're gonna. But they got the house, and that was the main thing. And but I couldn't believe it. I was like, and so now when like I have employment letters and the bank's like, I got a call for employment, I'm like, what used to be like, oh,
Always
that's
just
that's the easy
yeah,
part.
yeah, now it's, like, tense.
I'm like, no, no, no. You let me know when you're done. And now that turns out. Yeah. So that was fun.
Okay, realtor fight. I've had a few.
I
I got
imagine
2 I got 2 good realtor fights here. Not fights, conscientious disagreements.
professional disagreements.
That's it. That's the way. I had a listing. It was on the market for a bit, for probably 2 months at the time, and we're getting into December, warn the client, "Hey, like, we're going to December in the valley. The market doesn't just die, it actually turns into dust in the valley. So, like, don't expect anything, okay? We're not gonna do a price adjustment. There's no point. No one's shopping. We'll reassess in January." No problem at all. Everyone's on board. Out of nowhere, viewing within 28 minutes of viewing it, wrote me an offer. We're in high fours. They were at 400 even. So like 70, 80 grand off with a pretty aggressive closing and a lot of conditions. And I believe I stand by this. I believe open you should never say no. Like you don't like we don't outright reject offers. If someone wants to write an offer, especially 28 minutes after viewing the fucker,
Yeah,
usually
they're
means they're
enticed.
motivated by it. Right?
Yeah.
So, but I am a dick in this sense. I do if you're too low for me to count like to negotiate, I will counter you my full list price. And that and because it's my way of being like, listen, we appreciate the offer, so we're gonna respond. That number is just too low for us to take seriously. So when you wanna talk to
Yeah, yeah.
grown-ups,
When you talk like an adult, we'll talk like adults. Yeah.
yeah, we can talk like in it like I remember calling the agent being like, "Hey, like, we appreciate the offer. It's way too low for us to even like we're not considering this, but I do have a counter. What's the counter? We're at full list. That's a joke, right?" I go, "Well, you started being a joke first. I'm just reciprocating with like the consent of my client who didn't even want to write you a counter. I had to get them to do this." But I just want to be clear, we are open to negotiation, but like this, like that is not the number we're starting at for negotiation. Like that's not happening. And then of course you get the, well, you're overpriced. I go, okay. That you know what? I will take that argument. I'm not 80 grand over. I'm not that bad at my job.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
no, no, no.
yeah, yeah.
So, and the other thing that they did is in the offer, and I thought that this was really stupid. In the offer, they put the buyer's home address. Which, like, I've been doing this for 9 years. I've never gotten and nor have I ever put anyone's home address in the offer. Like, you put, like it'll say, like, buyer names and then from, and you put, like, Halifax, Nova Scotia, or, like, Wolfville, Nova Scotia, or, like, Toronto, Ontario. You know what I mean? You don't put the address. So I
Yeah.
thought that was weird. So I searched the address, and, they had sold their home, and it was closing in 3 weeks.
There's your aggressive close time, friend.
And I was like, "Oh, you need a house." And I'm going into December in the Valley, where I know the whole of Kings County last year had 24 new listings in December. So I knew nothing was coming to, like, help them. And I knew the market, and I was like, "I'm the best listing at my price point. I don't even have to, like we're gonna hold out." Sure enough, it's overpriced. Then they sent me an offer for 430, and they put I always love
Getting
this. This is as high as my client will go, and then you are overpriced. I go, "Okay, here's your counter. It's full list." And then they got mad at me for full list, and I'm like, "Once again, we're not negotiating at that number. You need to come up more."
yeah,
And then she goes, "Well, you're," and she reiterates, "You're overpriced. You're over." I go, "Okay, did you do a CMA? Did you do your market analysis? If you did, because if you're telling your client the home's overpriced, you looked at comps, you looked at comparables. Send me the market analysis. Send me the comparables. Send me where your logic is
yeah.
coming
What
from,
are you
so I can
looking at
try and
that
like
makes
right,
yeah
like
a
what did I
line?
like? Maybe I missed something. Maybe I made a mistake, but you try and help me. Maybe I can help you, and we can figure this out. Didn't send me a market analysis. Sent me um what they did was they took like 3 solds or 4 solds, and they just did square foot purchase price divided by square foot to get the price per square foot. But on like we were selling an 1,800 square foot house, they looked at a 3,000 square foot house, they looked at a 2,400 square foot house, they looked at a 1,000 square foot house, but it somehow everything magically came in around $200 per square foot somehow. Like that was where the parameter was, and we were at 215, 216, or 217, maybe even 220. And then I got the thing of like, "Hey, like my husband's a builder, like we build houses, like you're overpriced, like we're not paying the price per square foot." And I go, "Okay." So I call my client, I go, "Hey, they're stuck here. This is where they're at. We got, oh, square feet that I can't use in your basement because there's no ceiling, but I got walls, drywall, paint, I got a floor, but I can't keep it in the square footage because you need a fully finished space to include in square footage. So I
Yeah.
tell my seller, I go, hey, how about this? How about we counter full list and we just agree to finish the ceiling in the basement and we'll add 500 square feet. It'll bring the price per square foot down to $1.75, $1.80, and they're happy. We're happy. We're all good. Seller goes, I don't want to do that. I go, okay, I'll pay for it. Cause like, it's like $400 in a weekend of my time. Like I can go hang some fucking
Yeah,
drywall on a
it's
ceiling.
drop ceiling. Yeah.
It's not, this isn't hard. So I pitch it back, call the agent back. I'm like, hey, this is 10 days in now. We've been negotiating, which is the longest negotiation of my career. And I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
where are we at? And she goes, you're so overpriced. I'm like, oh, per your market analysis, I have solved your issue. No, we're not doing that. Oh my God. Okay, we don't have an agreement. Sure enough, and you know this, I do a pre-inspection on all my listings. Always pre-inspected. Super simple. Sure enough, I get a new offer. 450 final number. Final again. Final again. And you overpriced and then went through my inspection report and listed all of the deficiencies. We're talking like reverse polarity in a fucking socket. Like listed all of the deficiencies.
Yeah, I went through it with a fine tooth comb.
And I'm like, "Oh my God." And this is now we're texting. She's not even writing me an offer anymore. We're now just like texting this number back and forth. You know what I did? I said, "No, period," and I put my phone on do not disturb because I knew she was gonna call me. I put and this is Christmas. I just put my phone in another room and like just went about my evening. I checked my phone the next day, 18 missed calls and 32 texts.
It's worse than an ex.
Called her back and was like, "Hey, how you doing?" She goes, "Oh my," like gives me the gears for like not answering my phone and being unprofessional. I go, "Hey," I go, "Hold on. I just want to be clear. I told you explicitly no. We're not doing 450. My client's not interested in 450. We do not agree with the deficiency list that you said equating to how much you're asking off the price. We do not agree. Like that's just what this is. We do not agree." Sends me a text, 458. And I'm like, oh my God. Call my client, go, give me a fucking number. Just like give me a number.
What is the lowest you will go? And we will tell them
Yeah,
that.
like give like we're finally close enough to us where I'm like, we can negotiate here. And she said, this is the number, take or leave it. So I called back. I go, I'm just being very, very clear here. This is the number. These are the conditions. This is it. If you are not saying yes, good luck and go away. Like we're
Yeah, yeah,
done.
yeah, yeah. Happy shopping.
Sure enough, sure enough, I had an offer with the number.
Well, eventually somebody needs a house, right? They sold their other one.
Well, that was I could dig my feet in because I knew they needed a house. And
Yeah.
I'm guessing what happened is the agent was like I'm guessing this is pure speculation, but I'm guessing the agent showing the house was like when she showed up being like, I can get that price down. I like it's the only way you dig in that hard about price is like you made some commitment to your client that you're like, I'm a great negotiator. I can get you a great deal. And then when push came to shove, you couldn't deliver. Like I'm guessing that's like completely what happened. But that's just me filling in empty space with my own thoughts.
See, okay.
And
Here's why
that
I
was
can't.
2.5 weeks of negotiating.
Here's why I
Two and a half
can't do
weeks.
what you. Here's why I can't do what you do. You have to get on a phone with
Wait,
somebody and argue
one last
that.
thing. At one point, they told me they were going to send me an offer for a number, and they sent me an offer with a lower number.
What is this? Pawn Stars rules?
I'm just,
See, it's the arguing. Like, they see, my thing is like everybody has a lane in the transaction. So, like, you and the selling agent, at least you're in the same lane. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
pricing the houses, doing the comparisons, having a feel for all that stuff, like, that is your lane. So at least the 2 of you are in the same lane, arguing about things that you actually have a sweet swiffin' clue about, right? I got one where if it wasn't for my client's buying agent, who was a realtor partner of mine, if it wasn't for the fact that she was involved in the file, I was going through the phone or driving to where the selling agent was, because it was a matter of, like, stick to your lane. So they had posted this, like, I guess that as a real estate agent, you have to list the property for all of the attributes that make it beautiful, right? And make it grace and make it,
Unless you're selling a shithole, then it's a charming fixer-upper.
yeah. So it's like, this thing was listed. It had every, and again, stick to your lane. So, like, you as an agent and what you want to post and list this property as and outline the attributes of it may be what a person wants to hear or see as a target property, but it may not at all be what a bank wants. And unfortunately, unless your client is paying all cash and they need a bank, what the bank wants to see kind of fucking matters. So this person posted, and I went to their, ended up going to their page, and this is what they do for almost every friggin' place they post. Incredible opportunity for a hobby farm and a side income of an Airbnb. Make this whatever you want on a large acreage, hobby farm, Airbnb. If there was if there was one thing that they had said that the bank wouldn't like, they said 10. Everything that a bank doesn't wanna see, this person put in bold on the listing cut. Now, here's the problem. When you post it on your Facebook page and it's on the internet, there's a chance the bank won't see it. But when you copy and paste whatever verbal diarrhea that you've put onto the listing cut and then it ends up on the MLS list, like you said at the start of the podcast, what are the 3 documents you send me? You send me an MLS sheet, you send me an accepted purchase agreement, and you send me the property tax. So, like, then all of a sudden, the fucking jig is up because unfortunately the bank reads it, right? And so I've even gone so far as to have the bank Google things, right? Like, I've had the bank Google my clients, like, call me up and be like, your client Jason is an electrician, but I found a guy with his name on LinkedIn and apparently he runs a circus." And I'm like, "Oh, what? What are you doing on LinkedIn?" But it just goes to show that the banks are getting that much more, doing
Savvy.
that much more due diligence and that much more savvy. I mean, I've had the insurers remember properties, flag properties, and, like, I didn't even do the first deal. Like, somebody else put the property against to the insurer, and the insurer said no. And so then I come along 4 months later with another with, I wasn't involved in the first deal, so I'm coming into a brand new deal. What I thought, and the insurer's like, "Oh, did they fix this, this, and this about the property?" And I'm like, didn't know those things were broken. And sure enough, it's because they had the deal previously and it fell apart because of that. So
Right.
then I called the real estate agent up and I'm like, "Did you know this stuff was fucked?" And they're like, "Well, we haven't done those inspections yet." I'm like, "Well, unless something's changed, they're fucked." So anyway, back to the original one where I'm arguing about the seller to tell them to stay in their lane. So I go to my agent and I'm like, "Listen, like, I'm just telling you now, between you and the client, this is going to be tricky because everything that's saying about the property, a bank doesn't want. Large acreage, that's a tough one already. Like, when you're getting above, and this thing was like 20 some odd acres. Beautiful. I would have loved the
Once you hit
property.
above once you hit above 5, it just gets so dicey.
Five's manageable, 10 manageable, 15 a smaller window of manageable. Above that, you're paying cash for the difference, or we're taking you to, like, Farmland in Canada or something that'll do, like, hundreds of acres, right?
Right.
But in Farmland in Canada, it's because they literally buy on farms. So anyway, forget the fact that the acreage was an issue. Scream and hobby farm all over the place. Banks don't like hobby farms. They don't like hobby farms. So I'd go so far as to say they hate them. Then you've got Airbnb all over it. Literally,
Airbnb.
income producing
They
property, it's
hate
an Airbnb.
Airbnb.
They hate Airbnbs. The fucking place didn't have fucking plumbing or running water. So, like, I'm like, and God love the agent who I was working with this with the buyer, and she'd be like, "Matt, like, are we?" I'm like, "Listen, man, like, these are all brutal things that we have to overcome, and like, I can probably dance around a few of them, but like, the other
I
ones are going to
just
be hard stops."
I love that you got to no plumbing 4th on that list.
Yeah, that was the
Like,
last one.
that's
That was
what I
the
love
nail in the
is
coffin. That's the one where I was just like, "We're done now. We're done now." And like, and the seller agent was getting mad. "What do you mean we can't get financing? I know we can get financing on this property." And I'd go back to, and so my the buying agent who I was working with is conveying the messages she's getting back from the
Yeah, of
seller. And
course.
it's like at this point
Yeah.
now, I'm like, hold me back. Like, hold me back. I'm coming through the fucking phone. Like, stay in your lane. Cause then I went to her Facebook page and everything she posted was a hobby farm and everything else. I'm like, so clearly she's like, it wouldn't have a clue if it was like a roadmap and a flashlight to get to it. And I'm like, this is just, you're not going to get this across the desk of a bank. It's not going to happen. Like, I've got them on board for the acreage. Hell, I've got them on board for the fact that like it's not going to be a hobby farm. I had them convinced we weren't going to do the Airbnb. Like, we were going to do attestations to be like, not going to happen. Cancel all future. Like, then they had no running water, and I was like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm like, this is now like, but to argue with somebody and be like, well, you just don't know. Or this is just, I've got somebody. I'm like, use my cell phone and call this other person. And I hope you get it across the finish line. Right. Because at the end of the day, I want the client to be happy and get what
Yeah,
they
it's
want.
for the client. You're doing this stuff for the
100%.
client.
If you have
Yeah.
somebody that can get this over the finish line, do it.
Put up with it.
And then call
Yep.
me back and tell me that I couldn't do it and they could.
Yep.
That phone call never happened.
Of course it did.
Right. But I couldn't believe I don't even know what the word is, hubris, like just the sheer, just, wow, I got a guy and he could do it. I'm like, is it his money? Is he lending his money? Because maybe that's how he's doing it. But like an institution, because of what you've written, because of how you've described this property, you couldn't have thought of anything else. You couldn't have described it in any other way. You had to literally pick the worst things that a bank wants to see about a property and outline it. And I'm like, just anyway, yeah, didn't happen. And also, I wasn't allowed to talk to the selling agent directly.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I bet you
I
were.
was never
I
like,
bet you were.
I was like, "I'll talk to them. I'll get on the phone with them right now." My real estate's like,
Oh,
"No, no,
yeah.
no, no." She's like, "No, no, no, I'm not gonna do that. No, we're not gonna do that." But
We,
yeah, so it was just everything. I was like, I was like, "Next, you're gonna tell me it's sitting on top of a toxic dump, like it's like it used to be something of a landfill." Like, and I, honestly, it was a beautiful property in a beautiful area. I would have loved it. To have it would have been amazing. But also,
yeah,
there was
but
outhouses, no running water. Like, I was just like, "You don't got a lot going for you here." Right?
not that gets a bank excited,
No, and
right?
that's
Like,
my
you're
thing. Is like, at least if when you're arguing with the selling agent or the buying agent, like you guys are arguing about things that the two of you have a clue about, right? To be talking about the
not
value of the
always.
but somewhat of the same, like at least you're in the same room, right? But when I'm arguing with somebody who literally has never done this side of a transaction, let alone I'd say the most interaction they have with the bank is when they take the little booklet they still have since they were 14 and go to the bank at the end of the month to get their statements updated. I'm like, no, this is no, bank's not going to do it. So, and I mean, and if we could find a specialty bank to do it, the client's not going to like the rate, the term, and everything else, right? Because you're not getting 5% down.
Right. Oh my god. Oh, no. Okay, the first one I said, bad closing day. So we're selling a very, very expensive house in South End. Very expensive. 7 figures. And, in the offer, they put bathroom mirrors. Now that is a detail you do not see often in offers. You like,
That they
it's just
wanted
you
to
don't see
keep
it.
the bathroom mirrors.
Yeah, yeah, they wanted to keep all the bathroom mirrors. It's not
Okay.
a detail you see. So, when you
Put some
see
ticks
that,
in
because
there.
like some people put details like we want all blinds, curtains, and curtain rods and curtain hangers. Because like you like it's not a fix to the property, so you have to ask for it to stay.
Yeah, learn that the
So
hard
we
way.
look at this and they ask for all bathroom mirrors. That is a pretty specific detail. Never worked with the agent before. She seemed competent and good. So I said, okay, great. So everything it's they go through we did our pre-inspection, they go through their inspection, and they ask for windows to be replaced at my seller's expense before closing. My seller motivated, we're gonna do that, no problem. So they take it on. So we write the amendment that the sellers will do it at their own cost before closing, and all paid invoices and receipts from contractor are to be supplied to the buyer's lawyer before closing. Simple enough. Standard contract. We get to closing day. We get to the night before closing, and I always do a final walkthrough of my listings the night before closing because I want to get in there before you get in there because I want to make sure I cover all my asses before you see that. Because I don't want to
Mhm.
get a call the next morning on closing day being like it's dirty or your client didn't throw this away. Like no, 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 we're gonna nip all that shit in the bud. So I do my final walkthrough, and I'm with my seller. My client goes, "Hey, you sure they don't want the curtains?" And I go, they did not put it in the offer, and they put bathroom mirrors in the offer. We are not contractually obligated to leave the curtains. They did not ask for them. They're also cheap and shitty curtains from fucking Giant Tiger that are ripped. Like, they don't want the curtains. So he throws them out. They were there. They were hung up that night we're closing. Sure enough, they go final walkthrough was at like 8:30 or 9 a.m. We get to about 11 a.m. I've got my 14-year-old nephew down visiting for the week. And he's staying with us. And the new Superman movie just came out, so I'm bored. It's 11 a.m. I'm waiting for this. I haven't heard anything. So in real estate, no news is typically good news on closing day. So sure enough, I say, "Hey, I'm gonna take you to Superman. We're gonna go watch a movie." I go to Superman. Phone goes on. Do not disturb. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. We get out of the movie theater. It's like 2, 18 missed calls, 20 texts. The first one from my client. I am not in all caps. I am not giving them $10,000 for fucking curtains. Hold on. Call the client. What are we talking about? Client says they want $10,000 off for because the curtains are thrown out that you told me to throw out. They want in there as well. They're not happy with the contractor we used, so they don't agree the work was done in a quality manner. And there's a drip in a pipe, so they want that fixed. He goes, "I'll fix the pipe because it's dripping. I'll fix that. Nothing else." I go, "I understand. Let me make some calls." I call the lawyer. Lawyer is call and once again, that lawyer we all know. We all use him for everything.
Yeah.
Same guy. And he was walking me through. He goes, "They're just being unreasonable. They're just being unreasonable. Like, we're gonna have to find a way to work through this." Okay, cool. Then I call the agent. "Well, you threw out the curtains." "Well, you didn't ask for them. Also, it's your amendment that you wrote up. Nowhere in that does that state that buyers get final say on contractor that we use. We would
Yeah.
have never agreed to that, ever. You don't get to pick and choose. Well, is your contractor reputable? Yes, actually. Built the fucking Mount St. Vincent new library and fucking gym.
Yeah,
More
yeah, yeah.
than has built multiple big buildings, is a contractor on the side. More than reputable. We've given you all the warranties. Like no. You can hear me getting heated because you should have seen me on the day. Anya's on we have an acre behind us. And we have built this brand new deck. Anya's on the deck watching me pace, and we had just excavated the whole backyard. I am
It's
pacing.
the pacing of the phone is the best.
Uh,
That's when you know what's going
uh,
sideways.
just I'm kicking up dirt because I'm just in, and I'm pacing probably like 50 yards back and forth on the phone with these people. And I finally like I talk to this agent and I give her she's got no say. Like that you did not put curtains in the contract. You put bathroom mirrors and you did not put curtains, curtain rods, curtain hangers. And she's like, "Well, it's assumed." I go, "No, no, 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 no. Not assumed, not a fixture, not attached to the property." Not assumed. Not a thing. You don't get a couch. You don't assume you get a couch without asking for it. We have to put fridge in there because it's not fixed to the property. You know why you have to put fridge in there? Because it is not affixed. If I don't ask the fridge, you can take it away and no one gets to cry about it. No, 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 not involved. Then she goes, well, yeah, like my, it's not me, it's my client's lawyer who's telling them to go back. I go, and how much do they want for the curtains? Oh, they're looking for $4,000 off curtains. $4,000 for new curtains? Where the fuck are they buying curtains? I'm on one, going heated. And finally, she goes, Jason, I think we should leave this to the lawyers because I don't want this to impact our relationship. And I go, I don't know what you're talking about. So my lawyer, our lawyer charges 4 figures an hour
Yeah.
to do something. You want me to charge my client that much money for him to draw up an amendment and call your lawyer and try and figure this out when
You may as
your
well just go buy
clients
curtains for that price.
you know what I mean? Like, they don't have a leg to stand on?
Yeah.
Sure enough, we get to the end of the day, we haven't heard it. We told the lawyers told them, my lawyer told them, "We ain't doing we'll fix the plumbing, that's it."
Yeah.
And, sure enough, we get to the end of the day, and my client called me, and he's buying a new house cash
Out
in another
west.
part of the country.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And, he goes, "Jason, what do I do?" I go, "You bought this home 15 years ago for under $300,000. We're getting rid of it for all
Good.
the profit."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not saying you should do this. Is 10 grand really gonna be is it gonna kill you? If you need the 10 grand, then hold firm, but if you don't need the 10 grand, like, your other option is suing them for all they're worth if they walk away from the deal and taking damages. But, like, at the end of the day, do you wanna pay the lawyer that much more money? Can we just you could just and he just goes, "Okay, alright. We'll, sure, we'll figure it out." I go, "Okay." And then our lawyer calls us being like, "Just fix the plumbing, you're fine," and we walked away. But,
There wouldn't have
like,
been any part of me that paid for that. Not any part of me.
no.
I don't even care. I don't even care if I had all the profit in the world. I'd be like, no, walk away from it. I'll sell it to the next guy.
Yeah.
But it's funny though you say it like when I bought my place, that would be probably the biggest thing I learned when I bought my place was two hard lessons. The affixed thing I didn't know was the
Yep.
thing. And no discredit to the realtor I used. She may have very well said it to me. We had shopped for 3 months together, saw 50 houses. At this point, we were just doing it for fun, really. And then you know, I loved this house because it had a bar in the basement. And so the bar, like the basement was all done up like Tudor style walls. It looked like this English pub. And I was like in my late 20s at the time. It's single and loved a good beer. So I was like, this is hitting on
Game
all fronts
changer.
for Maddie. This is hitting on all fronts for
Yeah.
Maddie. So then we go through on the closing day. We walk through the house. I walk to the bottom of the stairs and I look at Mary and I'm like, where the fuck's the bar? And she's like, we didn't write it into the deal. I was like, what do you mean we didn't write it? What do you mean I had to write it into the deal? I was like, I don't know. She's like, well, it's not permanently affixed. I'm like, well, holy jumpins, they didn't take the fucking fireplace out. Like, it was a bar. I was like, what are you talking about? I don't even know how they got it up the stairs. Like, the thing was pretty big. Like, I don't even know. And I couldn't even be upset because like I knew the gentleman that owned the house did woodwork because he had a beautiful built-in china cabinet that it's still
Yeah.
there now. I won't touch it. I won't even let my partner. She's
Yeah.
like, "Can we paint it?" I was like, "You're not touching it. You're not touching it. Like we're not staining it. We're not painting it. That thing is craftsmanship. Like no." And so the son wanted it and I was like, "All right, mad respect. I get it. Literally, I bought this house for this bar, but anyway." Um but the other thing I would write in would be the affixed portion of anything, and, um, label the light switches. It took me probably a year and a half, and I'm not even exaggerating, it might have been 2 years for me to figure out what all of the different light switches did. And, like, to the point where I was actually pulling plates and, like, getting into the walls to be like, "Where the fuck does this even go?" Because like, I'm on and off and nothing's happening in the house anywheres. Like, I'd run it back to the panel. I'm like, "I can't figure this out." Like, there's probably 2 switches in my house right now. I have no idea what happens when I switch them. I don't know what's happening.
I got I got one last one for you, and you'll know it because we kinda lived through it together. Last year, we had a client. It wasn't your file, it was someone else's, but you'll know who exactly when I bring it up. We were selling an investment property, and the buyers wanted they did their inspection, and when it's kinda like a golden rule. I don't know if it's a golden rule, but it's kinda like, when you do an inspection, right? It's pretty much you're asking for anything over, like, $500 or a pain in the ass, or that's like a health hazard, or, like, will
Yeah.
fundamentally ruin the value of the house. They the buyers came back with an amendment for a line request of 52 items to be fixed before closing.
I'll just buy a different house. Just buy a different house. Like,
We were selling it.
I
The
know, I'm talking
so
about
remember
them. Like, buy a different house
the
if you
first
if you find that much wrong with it that you just don't like, okay, I think this is the place for you.
the first line was a cock front left window. This
Here's a $7 bottle of PL. Go for it.
the second line, Raycock front living room, with high inside window when looking from the road. There was like
What an
there was
eagle
like
eye.
there was like 4 items on that list. Like in the buried in there, the sewer
Were
line
things
was
that
cracked,
actually mattered. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the hot water tank was expired, the chimney needed a cap, and something else. And I remember, and you were in the room for this, 'cause do you know who I'm talking about now? Yeah. So you
The chimney cap gave it
you
away
were
for me.
yeah,
Yeah,
you were
because
in
I
the room
remember,
with me.
yeah, they
Yeah.
came back with a price on the chimney cap, and I think I lost my mind
Yeah,
because I just recently done my chimney cap, and I was like, "I'll fucking do it."
yeah, yeah, because it came down to, um, they they wanted us to do all of it before closing at our own cost to keep the price the same. And we had come down to we're gonna either do the 4 things that are actually detrimental that we would have to disclose on the next sale, or we're gonna give you 10 grand off and you're gonna do it all yourself. And essentially, it came down to the agent called me and, we agreed to the 4 things, and then they came back with one last thing, and it was clean out the chimney. And that was like it broke the camel's back. Client was
Oh,
like,
yeah,
"We're terminating. We're
I'm
done.
done. Yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
We're over." And
yeah.
I
You
remember
have
being
now
like
reached the fuck around and find out stage of the transaction. You have now fucked around enough. You will in fact find out.
and I remember being like, "I'm not saying you clean out the chimney. I'm saying you got your fucking number. Like, we did it. Like, you got your number that we
It is
thought we would not
it is
get."
only $250 to have somebody clean out the chimney.
You know what I mean? I was like, I understand you want to. And so sure enough, they come back and they go, "No, fuck them." And so I had to call the agent back. I go, "No deal." And the agent, I could not believe the audacity. She literally goes, "Oh my God, it's just cleaning out the chimney. Why can't your client do this one thing?" And I go, "We're doing a sewer line, a hot water tank, and we're doing a cap on a chimney. I think we're doing more than enough." And on that statement, "Oh my God, it's just cleaning out a chimney. Why can't your buyer clean out a chimney?" And that started a whole escalation thing because I got petty, and it
Yeah,
turned
yeah,
out
yeah,
that,
yeah, that didn't help.
and then it turned out that, at the end of the day, the buyer listen, if anyone can't read between the lines, they are from another country, and they had then disclosed this, is they have no experience doing any of these things, and that meant that they did not want to do it or learn how to maintain a home. So they expected the seller, my client, to do all this stuff, and we just weren't doing it. We finally got the deal done. Sold sign goes up, and I remember I said to them, "Closing day will not go smooth. Just need you to know that closing day will not go smooth." I know you do, but I need to tell the audience because that's why we're here.
Yeah,
So on
yeah,
closing day, I'm in the car going somewhere because remember I was like just before Mount Uniacke going to Halifax.
yeah, in the Z zone.
Yeah, calls me and is like, "Hey, the the washer's broken. It doesn't drain." I go, "Oh, okay, that sucks." And when you hear that, you're like, "Oh, we have to do a new washer." That sucks because like they asked for that the condition of it worked. It was in reputable order. It happened to kick out and die. That shit happens. Okay. And she goes, "Yeah, like there's probably gonna be some water damage too." And I go, "What are you talking about?" So they said that they didn't do it, but I got a video from her of a fucking lake
Yeah,
in this basement
yeah.
with laminate click flooring and baseboard, and it is soaked. She said that they just turned it on and it wasn't draining, so it leaked. How long it takes to fill the fucking washer tub? I'm guessing they turned it on, went to do the rest of the walkthrough,
Yeah,
and then left, and then came back to find it pumping out water.
yeah,
I remember they asked then for $10,000 off the price because of water damage and mold.
I think I
I
flipped that day
remember
when the call came in.
remember I keep going outside for these situations. I was on my deck and I remember her going, "Yeah, so we're gonna need a holdback of $10,000 because my client's now worried about, water damage, mold." And I go, "On the basement you fucking flooded, you're asking me for money back? You flooded the bay." Oh, I was so mad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
remember the client, our my client who was
Mhm.
sent me a video of him with a mop and in the basement
Yeah,
mopping, and he sent me a video of him stepping on the planks and water gushing up from underneath the floor,
yeah.
and he had a dehumidifier going, like, that was gonna do it.
See, yeah, that was a bad one. I remember when he got that call because then the Cape Breton came out at me, and I was like, "All right, where are we going? We're going to somebody's house or apartment or Airbnb, wherever they fucking live. Like, it's time to return favor." But I do remember that. Yes. Yeah. It's
I and the craziest thing is I had to call, once again, that lawyer we all know and be like, "Walk me like, tell me I've got
yeah, yeah.
grounds.
Y
Give me some fucking teeth here to sue. Like, give me, because this is the first time in my life where I actually wanted my client to sue, and I was like,
yeah.
give me some teeth." And he goes, did the washer malfunction?" I go, "Don't you dare." He goes, "Did the washer malfunction?" I go, "It did malfunction." He's like, "Client's at fault. So it's in working order. The washer flooded the basement." Legally speaking, and oh my god. I don't if I remember correctly, we actually managed to keep the deal.
Oh, it
Like,
happened.
Like, we no, but we kept the full amount. We didn't give them a holdback. I think the client did some minor work to fix it, and then they came back and signed off on it because he got the water out. Anyway, that was a that was a that deal.
Yeah, that I
That
yeah,
deal.
yeah, that's a
That
good one.
deal.
Yeah.
That
But it's
is
it's
that
it's
is
it's interesting though because, like, we get it oftentimes where they're like, the realtor will call and be like, "We need to do a price adjustment, and, like, here's how much we're gonna be doing it for," and, like, so, like, "Is this gonna be an issue?" And, like, 5, 10 grand, 15 grand, like, there's ways, but I've gotten the call where it's like 30, 40, 50, and I'm like, "Whoa, what do we" it's not just cosmetic. Like, that's not just paint. What's the issue? And,
I
you
think my
know
dog's telling us we're done. I think my
but I
dog's telling us we're done.
but it's like, structural beams and the well doesn't work or the well's contaminated, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
You can't
So,
put that in writing. You can't
no.
put that in writing.
Yeah.
You have to make that amendment seem like it's an ordinary thing and it's gonna be fine because it will be fine. It's being taken care of by professionals. There will be paid invoices, but you can't put $50,000 amendment because structural integrity of home is falling over.
On the 2 worst ones, I wasn't even told what the issue was. I just said it was 2 different deals. One was like they wanted 40,000 off the asking price, and another one was like, they wanted like 30 off. And so afterwards, the deal didn't happen. Clients walked away from the property. And then they come to tell me, either the client or the realtor would come to tell me as to what the deal was or what the issue was. One of them was the main structural beam that holds up the house was cracked. And I was like, we got pretty far into that deal. Like, I'm really happy that this isn't happening. And also, kind of mad you didn't tell me 2 weeks ago. And the other one was a contaminated well. And the client still wanted to buy the house. I'm like, "Brother, why do you wanna buy it?" "Oh, I can fix that. I can fix that." I was like, "I don't think
I
you can."
do I do love those clients. When I get those clients, I ask them to sign a waiver that I advise them not to.
I just told him, "Get bottled
Here
water."
you go. Not my fault. This is not on me. This is your decision. You have been advised in writing that your realtor has told you not to do this. Here
Yeah,
you go. Do not call me
unreal.
in 3 years when we have a problem selling it because you didn't actually fix it.
Unreal.
Anyway, alright, sir. Appreciate
Always a
you as
pleasure.
always. Thank you.
See you
Stay
again.
on the line.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. You can find our contact information in the show notes. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks again.